Okay, Thursday the 13th, we are back to lower body. This is also for reps. So we have weighted forward lunges, single leg deadlift, calf raises, weighted bridges, and up and overs. So for each of these, you are going to pick between 50 and 100 reps. You do not need to do the same number for each exercise. So when I did these, I did like the most of weighted lunges, and then I did the same number for single leg deadlifts and calf raises, and then I did the least amount of up and overs. I think I was just like running out of time, but so if there's something that is easier for you, you can do more reps. If there's something that's more challenging, you can do less, but it needs to be between 50 and 100, and you need to finish each exercise. So you don't do like 25 lunges, 20 single leg, and then go back through. You have to do whatever number of reps you're doing for your weighted lunges, you have to do them fully before moving on to the next exercise, okay? So we have weighted forward lunges. The easiest way is to hold a weight in each hand. Single leg deadlift. And you can absolutely hold on to a chair if you need to. Okay. Calf raises, I'm not gonna move my thing to my stairs like I normally do, but you go up on your calves. I prefer you to be on a ledge so that your heels hang off and you get a better stretch. Weighted bridges. You're going to take your dumbbells, tuck them into where your legs meet your torso. Or if you happen to have a barbell that you can lay across, you can go ahead and do that. And I think it was up and overs. Yep, up and overs. Move that out of the way. Okay, so we talked about lunges, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'm just going to say you're holding a weight in each hand. You don't have to do them weighted if you do not want to. You're going to step forward in railroad so I can see both feet, sink down 90-90, back up. Forward, sink down, back up. My back is staying straight. I'm not hunching down. My feet, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, everything is pointing forward, okay? Single leg deadlift. So this one, we did straight leg deadlift before. It's a very similar form to our swing. It's one where you hold the weights, your butt goes back to the wall, your back comes down, you sink down. Usually my weights hit about mid-shin. I can really feel my hamstring pulling, and that's when I stand back up, okay? So instead, you're just doing one leg. So it's gonna look the same from the side. If you didn't see my leg up in the air, like if I'm doing this one, it looks the same, except you're just doing one leg. So you can absolutely hold on to anything that you need to, because it's really not gonna take away at all from the exercise, because it's so much pressure on one leg. Holding on doesn't really make a difference. So I'll show you holding on. So you're going to just pick a starting leg. The other leg you're gonna put up off the ground and to the side. I always hold my weight in the opposite hand of the leg that I'm gonna be standing on. And I'm going to have that slight bend in my knee. I'm going to push my butt back, my hips back to the wall. My upper body's gonna bend down with a straight back. My weight hit about that mid-shin, my knee is bent, and I'm gonna return back up. So when you do these, all the weight is on that one leg, okay? So again, if you want to try to make it more difficult, you're gonna do it without, and it requires a lot more balance, especially like I do it on my rug, and like you can tell, like there's not many exercises that I care about, whether it's on rug or hardwood, but this one is much harder on a rug than it is on like hardwood. So this one is just more concentration much more balance, which is in turn gonna work more muscles, especially like your core. But if it's just not working out, it's too hard for you, then you're just gonna hold on to something. That's totally fine. And you're gonna switch sides. Calf raises. So as I mentioned, I'm just gonna show you briefly on this chair. I prefer you to do it on a ledge, like a stair, okay? I'm just not gonna move this because I have it set up perfectly. And when I move, I have to roll it and then it gets messed up. It's annoying. So what I mean is if I was on my staircase, my heel is hanging off. So I'm only on the stair about half my foot. I'm gonna go up into my calf raise. And when I come down, I get a huge stretch because look how much lower. So so right where my midfoot is where the edge of the chair is. And then that much of my heel is hanging down. So I'm getting a big stretch and then I go back up and then a big stretch down. So I'm getting a much bigger range of motion than if I'm just going like this, which is why I prefer you to use a stair or a height. For this purpose, or maybe you don't have a staircase in your house or near where you work out, you can just go up on your tippy toes, back down. Up on your tippy toes, back down. So that you are working the back of your leg, which is your calf. Weighted bridges. You can do this with no weight, but I find this is actually a really easy one to add weight to because most women have very strong legs and butts. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the weight, your dumbbell, and you're going to tuck it in where your leg meets your torso. So all I'm doing is just taking my hand like this and butting it up against the top of the waist. So I don't have to worry about holding it. I don't have to worry about it slipping. It basically sits in that nook and then having my palm up against it keeps it in place. So that I don't have to worry about. And I'm just going to squeeze my butt and lift my hips up as high as I can. So see how I'm barely holding on, but they stay put, and then back down. Squeeze up, back down. So always pause for just a moment at the top. Make sure you get a full squeeze, and then back down. So you could also, if you had a barbell, you could put it across your lap. I know most people don't, but I like using the dumbbells because again, I like how it sits in that nook really well and I don't have to worry about it. And then lastly, we have up and overs. So this one is abs, but it will also work your legs. And this is one of those exercises I think I might have mentioned before, or at least in other programs. Whenever you're doing ab exercises that involve your legs, you can feel it burning sometimes, and it really is uncomfortable in your hip flexors. So your hip flexors are like a short muscle that's on the front of your like top thigh, and I don't know why it's like always tight on a lot of people. So you might notice that when you're doing these, you're like, oh, like it's burnt. Like why is like the top, like it's almost like, it's not your groin, but it's like the top, like where we were just holding the weights for the weighted bridges, it's way up there. That is where you'll feel it burn, and that's what it is. So sometimes we do things like leg lifts or these, or even maybe bicycles, anything where your legs are outstretched and you might be moving them while you're doing abs, you have the potential to feel that. And if it's really bothering you, just stop. Sometimes it just doesn't go away and it's really uncomfortable, but it is normal. It's not like something crazy happened. If you've never felt that before, it does happen. So with your up and overs, you're leaning back like this. The weight is kind of back on your palms. And some people have their hands like this, like this, like this. It doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for you. And you're gonna start with your legs on one side of the weight. You're going to crunch up and lift them over and down to the other side, okay? So you're just gonna crunch up, crunch up, crunch up, crunch up. So with these, the straighter your legs are, the harder it is. If that is hard, you're gonna scoot your butt in so your knees are more bent, and you're gonna do it with more bent knees, which will make it a little bit easier, okay? So what I was talking about is like, there's like an area right here and it's gonna like burn. So sometimes, like I said, if we do leg lifts where you're lifting your legs up and down, these ones will do it. There's a couple other ones, and usually once it starts burning, it doesn't stop until you stop the exercise. So if that's happening to you, just go ahead and pick a different either leg exercise or an ab exercise and just do that instead.